While new unvaccinated coronavirus patients continue to show up at local hospitals, the last report shows 95% of ICU beds in the state are now filled.
This week, pediatric COVID-19 hospitalizations reached record highs in Florida. Our Lexi Nall spoke to local healthcare professionals about how children are being affected right here in Palm Beach County. She joins us live. Lexi?
Liz, Jim, Palm Beach County hospitals are currently operating over capacity, so this new strain is taking a serious toll on our local healthcare system. In some cases, hospitals are stretched so thin that doctors are warning other non-COVID care could soon be impacted. And now an alarming new trend in children's hospitals. That's where some doctors are now seeing a record number of serious COVID-19 cases among kids.
It's hard to see, a child struggling to breathe in a hospital.
Palm Beach County doctors feeling the strain as pediatric COVID-19 cases climb in local hospitals. Data from the Department of Health and Human Services shows that there are currently more than 200 children hospitalized with COVID-19 in Florida. And local healthcare providers are also reporting pandemic highs.
We're seeing more children being hospitalized as well, probably on a factor of 3 to 4 times what we were ever seeing at any point in time during this pandemic.
This doctor says they're still able to manage the influx of pediatric patients at Palm Beach Children's Hospital. But if things get much worse, that could change. As of yesterday, just 20% of beds in Palm Beach County pediatric ICUs were available for use. And doctors say this Delta variant is affecting seemingly healthy children, too.
The majority of the children will have some underlying health conditions who end up in the hospital, but we've seen healthy athletes who end up in the hospital as well.
According to the doctor, kids of all ages are coming down with COVID-19, but the majority of serious cases he sees are unvaccinated teens. And he says if more teens got vaccinated, it might relieve some pressure on our local hospitals.
And often these teenagers, this is their first time really being sick in their lives, and it can be quite stressful, scary to them.
Well, the doctor also told me that often unvaccinated teens are showing up at the hospital, so he did recommend that maybe parents should consider getting vaccinated themselves and creating a vaccination bubble around those kids to keep them out of the hospital.
Well, a Sebastian school that recently lost a teacher to COVID complications is now closed, the second campus in Indian River County to do so because of a COVID outbreak.
Our Denise Sawyer joins us now from the Treasure Coast Elementary School, where a growing number of students and staff there have tested positive.
Yeah, 14 staff members tested positive for COVID, and just yesterday, more than a third of the students were out. So the school district had to move quickly to keep that virus from spreading further.
It's day one of the Treasure Coast Elementary School closure due to COVID.
It's been very challenging.
Principal Scott Simpson is keeping parents from coming in as laptops are headed out.
The challenging part of running the school and keeping it open is we've had 25% of our staff out, and that is just not sustainable.
A coronavirus outbreak triggered the temporary shutdown of this campus in Sebastian, the second in the county this year.
When we look at the numbers at Treasure Coast Elementary, unfortunately, the mitigation strategies that we recently put in place weren't put in place soon enough.
Superintendent Dr. David Moore and the school board had planned to let masks be optional, but changed their policy as COVID surged up and down the Treasure Coast. Now elementary and middle school students are required to mask up.
I think it's a good call to keep the kids safe, keep everybody safe.
More than 400 students and close to 150 employees have tested positive in this district since the first day of school. And when too many students and staff test positive, school campuses here in Indian River County will close until the outbreak subsides.
Yeah, we tried real hard to keep it open.
Treasure Coast Elementary School is the latest hotspot.
That's not easy, you know.
And the district tells CBS 12 News other schools may also be approaching that closure threshold.
At all costs, we want to keep schools open, but not at the cost of jeopardizing anyone's health or safety.
For now, more than 600 Treasure Coast Elementary School students will go back to learning online, an unwelcome reminder of the times we now live in.
Now this campus will remain closed until September 10th. This is the second school to be closed in this school district. Beachland Elementary also will remain closed through Labor Day.
It's been nearly a year now since a mother of 2 was murdered when she stopped at a gas station in Palm Beach County to get gas.
CBS 12's Al Peffley reports her family is now taking legal action they hope might save lives.
The victim was on her way home from work and she stopped that night at this Chevron station on alternate A1A. Unfortunately, she never made it home alive.
For me personally, it was a nightmare at the beginning. It's just, I think I know what shock is now. You can't describe it.
Jacqueline Barthelomy's father says the pain of losing his daughter will never go away.
You just don't realize it till you go through it of how awful it is, and I just don't want any family to go through this again.
36-year-old Jacqueline was a chef at a nearby country club, divorced, and she had a teenage boy at home. She stopped for gas the night of September 11th, 2020, and was shot and killed when she happened to walk in on an armed robbery in progress.
It just happens, you know, there's a random thing. Unfortunately, it happened to Jackie, and now my son's without a mom.
Barthelomy's relatives are suing the Chevron station owner for negligent security. They say the gas station had advertisements in the windows that prevented Barthelomy from being able to see that an armed robbery was taking place as she walked in. They also say the Chevron station had 2 clerks, but one of them was outside putting gas in his car instead of doing his job, which was to keep an eye on the property for people loitering or any potential threats. The armed holdup happened just 5 minutes before closing time.
She walked into the gas station like we all do, absolutely unbeknownst to her that a full-on armed robbery was going on inside.
19-year-old Ezekiel Nunez and 20-year-old Sonia Williams are now charged with murder and armed robbery. The Chevron station owner told me by phone he feels this Chevron station is very, very safe. He says in his opinion, Barthelomy knew exactly what she was getting herself into that night when she went in there. He says the place is lit up like a football field at night and she thought she could save the world. In his opinion, this is a very unfortunate thing that happened.